Welcome to BOBCAT News. I'm Ben Bukowitz.
And I'm Rebelo. It's already the Friday before spring break here at Wesleyan, and we had a lot of exciting things happen on campus this semester.
This past weekend was Orange and Black Day, and there were several events for new and current students to enjoy.
One of those events was the theater department's production of Agnes and God, written by John Pilmore and directed by department professor Gregory Mott. This year's production featured several firsts for the department, including 2 different casts and projections to add to the set.
West Virginia Wesleyan College basketball season is upon us.
Score!
Wesleyan's Bobcats men's and women's basketball had their last home game on February 18th against Wheeling Jesuit. This was the senior players' last game here at the Rockefeller Gym. The games featured seniors Mo Birchie from Leesburg, Virginia, Landon Todd from Oakland, Maryland, Susan Meyer from Blanchester, Ohio, and Destiny Tunstall from Indian Head, Maryland. Unfortunately, both teams lost to the Wheeling Jesuit Cardinals. The men were down 85-67 when the final buzzer rang, and the women also came up short in their devastating loss of 75-56. Since then, both teams have traveled to Shepherd for their conference matchups.
Wesleyan's Greek life has had an exciting semester too. Earlier this month, students participated in the long-standing Wesleyan tradition of jump to welcome their new brothers and sisters.
Students here at Wesleyan are looking forward to many more new things after spring break. We talked with Leah Tuckwiller, editor-in-chief of Wesleyan's Vandalia Arts Journal.
The Vandalia is Wesleyan's literary and arts journal. We publish once a year in the spring, and we take student, faculty, and public submissions. We're entirely student-run. Our faculty advisor is in the English department, but students are responsible for all the content selection, layout, as well as editing and getting the journal actually to the printers and back, and we're in charge of the release. So my job as the editor is to set up a staff, which is done in the fall, to manage submissions, which is done all year long. And once we get to spring semester, I'm in charge of making sure that everything gets pulled together, that submissions get sent to editors for review, and then that they get sent off to the printers in the form of the file that we send them so that they send us back a completed journal. On the staff, we have content editors, just staff editors who are in charge of reading through submissions and selecting which ones they think will be the best fit for the journal. We also have a layout editor who is in charge of putting together pages, covers, and the digital file that we send off to the printers. Students from any department can submit to the journal, and we welcome submissions from every department. Typically, editors are in the English department, but that's not a definite thing. An art student sometimes will be in charge of art submissions, and another art student will sometimes be in charge of the layout. But typically that's up to whoever the current editor-in-chief is. Students can submit to Vandalia in hard copy to Box 2088 this year, it changes every year, or to vandalia@wvwc.edu. We take written submissions in Word document or art submissions in .jpeg files. Vandalia is released in the spring semester of every year, typically April or May, just because it takes us the entire semester to get the journal put together, and then we have a release party at the Beer and Bards reading series for whichever month it is that we happen to be releasing. When submissions have been received, we'll typically send an email to the author or the artist telling them that they have been selected for the Vandalia, and then typically we'll also offer them the chance to read their work at the release party or to explain their visual art in front of whoever turns up at the release. Students can get a copy of Vandalia on campus. They're typically in the English department on the first floor. Right as you walk in the door, there's a table. They will also be available at the release party, I believe, and typically you can ask people you know, say, where can I get a copy? And they'll tell you where. Students should know that the deadline is March 15th, so if you have any work you'd like to submit, it's coming up. Submit your work and we'll consider it for the Vandalia.
That all sounds very exciting.
And that's how the cookie crumbles, Lawrence.